Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terri Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we will be continuing our Sports Night Marathon, and we will also be talking about some of the fall TV we have consumed thus far. But first, Dancing with the Stars has had three episodes since we last talked about it. There was last week's 2-hour results show, which gave us a retrospective of the first 4 hours. And then there was Monday's very short pre-debate, super quick dance show. Mm-hmm. And then tonight, on Tuesday night, we had another 2 hours to go over the hour before.
Yeah, there was really quite a lot of rehashing of the previous night.
Oh my gosh. A 2-hour retrospective of a 1-hour episode.
Yeah,
they are really running in place quite hard. So hopefully it will be interesting to see where it goes from here. I mean, they had to do the short one on Monday because of the debate, so there was nothing that could be done about that. I don't know why the results show has to be 2 hours. No. That seems excessive. I like the idea of having the results show so that you're going home based on the current week's dance, but they are just padding this stuff to within an inch of its life. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like seeing some pro dances. It's nice to have some opportunity, but some of them are not good. Mm-hmm. And I think we have had sufficient female pros dancing trashy to last us the rest of the season. Let's move on, shall we? Mm-hmm. But I guess the thing to really talk about is Monday night's actually dancing show, and then the results that we found out about on Tuesday. So did you find any dances on Monday that you particularly liked or did not?
I will say that I liked how fast it was.
Yes, that is true. I liked that too.
It was really nice to just focus on the dancing and not have so much extra chit chat. Although they, of course, made up for it by just saving it all of it for today. Yes. For the results show.
Yeah, I was not sad to miss the judges' commentary.
Yeah.
Just move it along.
Although it is interesting to see how much they talk during the dance.
That was interesting.
You know, they talk to each other, they point things out, they cheer, you know, they say, oh, she messed up, you know, they do that kind of stuff. So that was kind of interesting to see. Yes. But boy, did they rehash all the like backstage and rehearsal everything. Stuff. I thought that let's see, of course the top two were the good two. Yes. You know what I mean? That I did think actually that the two waltzes were pretty entertaining, decent to watch.
I really liked Tara's waltz.
Yeah.
And I think that Sasha is doing a terrific job at what pros are supposed to do, which is choreographing dances that make the star look good. Mm-hmm. And he's doing a great job with that. He's really showing her off, and he's doing things, you know, as best as can be done. Yeah. And I thought that was a beautiful dance. And I really liked the dress they had her in. And it was just, I could have done without the little bit of backstory, you know. But, that was just a really nice dance, really nicely put together for her. Yeah. I gave her all my votes since
every single one.
And actually, no, I gave Ryan a few votes just because I didn't feel like he should go home yet. But
because of his cute grandma, although we didn't see the grandma until after the voting.
Specifically not because of his cute grandma. But I was pretty sure Rick was going to go home. So that was the right call,
right?
I think.
And also Calvin Megatron did a good job on his dance. On his waltz, that was the pairing with Tara, and then of course I liked James and I liked Lori. You know, Mary Lou, I'm sorry, is not really.
She's not
punching my
jumping
buttons.
Up to this like the way I thought she would.
Yeah. I thought she would too.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that.
Yeah.
And boy, could that number with Amber have been any more on the nose?
Yeah.
Or I mean, I guess you got to do it if you got that, but
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, and I don't like I don't like how they keep putting her in wigs. You know, I mean, she looks like a completely different person, and
she does.
I don't know, and yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, I thought. I mean, she was a good sport about it, but yeah, a little distasteful.
Right.
But I like James. I think he will continue to do well. My husband occasionally wanders through while I'm watching it. He usually makes a disparaging comment. But he happened to come through while James was dancing, and he said, well, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So high praise.
High praise, right.
You have to get Nicole to watch.
Yeah.
Or at least just to vote for him.
Her
She doesn't
countryman.
But yeah, he seems to have a good attitude. And
yeah, and he's just he's very charming, and he's playing the game well.
He's playing the game well, absolutely. And, I had to laugh when they did that, the number with all the female pros. I read somewhere, or maybe it was said on the show, that the reason Sharna's hair is that color is so that she stands out in this group. Stands out from all the blondes. And boy, you could tell where she was at every moment in that dance. Emma and Whitney and Lindsay all sort of blend together, and then there's a bunch of dark-haired troop members, but there's Sharna. You can tell her. So for even though it's not a color found in nature, it works for her. I think
that's pretty funny. that makes a whole lot of sense when you put it that way. I will say that I did not care for Kim subbing for Aaron.
I did not either. I am on a Facebook group of people who watched the show, and people seem to be happy with that. There was, in all fairness, she had that bit where she had to talk to everybody who was in jeopardy about why they were in jeopardy, which was, that was written for her. I don't think that was her just extemporaneously figuring that out. It was bad. It was really
bad.
And she didn't have the chops to pull it off.
No.
So yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, I often think that Aaron doesn't have the chops to pull it off either.
But so I think Aaron has
Tom to just be everywhere.
Right. Tom does do it all. But I mean, I think Aaron has a little goofiness to her that
she does.
That sometimes works really well to diffuse a tense situation, because she tries to bring all the awkward on herself. And I know people don't like her, and I know that that can get grating, but in kind of situations, I felt she was missed.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. But so the dances were so fast. There's a lot of people in that aren't making that much of an impression on me, other than the. And they're doing fine. Everybody's doing fine. They're coming along little by little. Marilou and Maureen, I wish were doing better, because they're sort of my age, and I would like to think that they could just go on there and show these
a little
kids
better, please.
Too. Yes, please. But I think that there's plenty of people who could gracefully go home over the next several weeks before we start to get to people that we're going to miss. Which is a good place to be.
Yeah.
However, next week, Cirque du Soleil, really, I cannot tell you how deeply I do not want everyone doing a cirque routine. Okay? I mean, I think Lori's got it, but...
You're right.
And, there's several people who can do fine, but I don't want to see Maureen hanging from something. I do not want to see Mary Lou trying to contort herself in some Cirque du Soleil way. It just seems like a bad idea. Disney Week is bad enough. Do we really need?
Right.
I'm not looking forward to that. 2 hours of awkward circus routines. Yay! Can't we just? Wasn't this a ballroom dancing show at one point?
Right. I don't know why they always have to have these crazy themes. Now, do they always have this sort of face off and immunity and all this business, or is that
They
kind of
do,
new?
but usually later in the season.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen them do that, but it's usually later in the season. I think they just had to do it for this week because that was the only way they could get that many dances into an hour.
Right.
So, and it worked, and it sort of gives them an opportunity to make sure that certain people are safe in these early weeks. So I don't think any of the ones who got immunity were in any danger.
Right.
It will be interesting to see. Who do we think is going to be next to go?
I think Amber and Maureen are in.
Yeah. How much does Amber? I mean, I have absolutely no idea who Amber is. I don't know if I ever heard her name before this. If so, just very briefly. She's like a model, and
yeah, I don't know much more than that.
Does she have a? I mean, Max certainly has a built-in voting block,
right?
Because he's been with the show a long time. But I don't know about her if she has people who care if she's there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something that could hurt her.
Yeah, and I don't know if people have forgiven Ryan sufficiently now to not want to be voting him off. He just seems like such a little sad puppy that it's hard to feel, angry and wanting him to be off of the stupid little spangly dance show. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think that these first two were pretty obvious.
Right.
After that, it could go any number of different ways.
Right.
But I still like Lori very much.
Yeah.
And I think, and she's cute and age appropriate, which I like. So.
Even doing the tango.
Smelling quesadillas.
Oh, funny.
Yes. So I guess at this point we could move on to talk about sports night. I was not a fan of a couple of these. I was watching these episodes, and I think I enjoyed them the first time through, but there's been a lot of Sorkin under the bridge since then, and so much talk about the way he writes women, and so much talk about the sort of circular writing he does when people are having conversations or arguments, that this was just a little minefield of that stuff. I mean, the ending, the last episode, Sally, which has the most famous line from Sports Night,
right?
That was wonderful. The rest, but boy, small town, I had trouble getting through that a little bit. Everybody was awful. I mean, Casey and Dana at
that date was just
that date was awful, and they were awful. But so were Gordon and the girl were awful, and. He is a bad boyfriend, man. You don't have to be shipping Casey and Dana to feel that Gordon is a bad boyfriend. You don't.
Right.
I mean, we do this podcast for no money and zero professional stakes. But if my husband made fun of your little podcast show, I would be ticked.
Yeah.
So all the more so for Dana, how awful and then still feel like you have to want that and put yourself through that. So this was, hi, Dana. I mean, I remember loving the character of Dana, but boy, is she one of Sorkin's characters who are excellent at their job and awful at everything else.
Yeah,
it's so sad, and it doesn't get better in season 2.
Yeah, it's just so hard to watch her be so insecure about
why would she be that way?
Right.
I don't know. So then in the second episode, Rebecca, we have one of these Sorkin, if a woman says she's not interested, she just wants you to try harder and keep at it until you finally break her down, which is, I mean, I think I was charmed by it the first time I saw it. I don't remember it bothering me at the time. I thought it was cute because, of course, Dan is adorable and, she should go out with him. But, and there was another one of these sorts of things on Studio 60, which people didn't like, but I liked. It didn't bother me there, but I just, you hear so much criticism for these things that it starts to color the way you see it. So,
and I also think it's a timing thing. I mean, it definitely bothered me now, but it maybe if I was watching this 15 years ago, it wouldn't have.
Yeah, I just thought it was, I think at that time it was just, the good old bantering and, um, it didn't seem like a thing, but now it really, holy cow, was he being annoying.
Yeah, well, and not just annoying, but like borderline stalky and, where like, come on, you really need to, no means no. Like, you need to leave her alone now.
I know. And then at the end, of course, she's, I guess in the next episode, was it Dana in the Deep Blue Sea, when she finally just reveals herself to be completely charmed by him because he messed up and said,
because he was thinking about her.
Covered with cheese. Right. Yeah, so that's like, okay. So, she really did want you to keep at it.
Right.
Oh, and then we failed to mention in Small Town, amongst the many painful things, was Lisa Edelstein as Bobby Bernstein, insisting that Dan slept with her and never called, and he can't remember, and he claims it never happened. And we will revisit that. But that actress not well served in Sorkin projects.
Right, I know.
I feel bad. I liked her, but yeah, that is not a good deal. So then in Dana in the Deep Blue Sea, it's more of Dana dithering about Gordon and and also Dana dithering about Gordon, plus Natalie being constantly, you're in love with Casey. You're in love with Casey. Casey's in love with you. Do people not have work to do?
Yeah, and for a workplace, there's so much discussion about not just relationships, but actual sex. Like, who walks into their boss's office and just says, well, I had sex last night? Like,
and as much as they make a joke of Isaac being uncomfortable about it, they still keep doing it. And it's just not appropriate. And I don't feel like I had any of these problems the first time through. So I don't know why it seems less adorable now, but it really does. However, then we get to Sally, which, now, did you see that coming? Because I've seen it enough times, and I just recently read stuff about the episode. So I was like watching it. It seemed like there were enough clues that it was pretty obvious, but never having seen it before, did you know where they were going with the shirt?
No. I mean, I only got as far as Casey and Sally, figuring that out pretty quickly. But I definitely didn't get the real mic drop that happened.
You're wearing my shirt, Gordon.
You
can Google. There's a Tumblr named "You're Wearing My Shirt, Gordon." I'm sure it's not kept up anymore, but it's that is, I would say, the most memorable line from Sports Night. So, an excellent twist there. So that sets up a difficult situation because, of course, Casey can't let her be with Gordon because he now knows Gordon is a rat, but at the same time, he can't tell her why he knows that.
Right.
Because then she'll know that he did too, which, is not cheating on her literally, but sort of figuratively.
Right.
I really love you, but I slept with your arch rival.
Right. I slept with someone that I know you can't stand.
Exactly, and feel all sorts of insecurity about.
Right.
But, so this was, other than that highlight at the end, not the most wonderful 4 episodes of Sports Night. But in some ways, fairly quintessentially Sports Night in all the bad things, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, in that very first one where they're all out on the date, and so Natalie is in charge. On the one hand, you have Natalie like just doing a great job and taking over and handling the whole thing about, is there going to be a trade or not? And Dan's not there, Casey's not there, and Dana's not there. And she gets to really show that she can do it. But at the same time, she, in the end, she has to lose a bet to Jeremy. Like, like, really? Couldn't she just have this one?
Yeah, that was too bad. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see her doing the job really well.
Right.
But yeah, I remembered there their relationship more fondly than I'm feeling about it now. So I don't know, maybe it's age. Maybe I'm not tolerating that sort of stuff. Or maybe I've just read too much Sorkin hate and it's colored it. I don't know. But I hope these next four. I'm not sure about the next four. But we will keep watching it. Are you generally enjoying it, though?
Yeah. I mean, it's so mannered, with the
really
the banter and the overlaying conversation and the repetition, and that it's a lot. I think it's one of those shows where watching 4 at a time. I usually watch 2 at a time.
Yeah,
but even that might be too. One too many
at
one sitting.
Well, we can reconsider our viewing pace if you like. There's not that many of them. Do you want to cut back?
No, I don't think so, because I want to
get through it,
see the whole season.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, we have 2 more weeks for the first season.
Yeah.
We have at the end of the episode, I'll mention the next 4 we're going to watch. But first, at this time, I would like to say we're going to have a little discussion of fall TV. And I want to make sure, I'm finding my little soundbite thing here, that everybody knows that we are going to be having spoilers in this conversation. It's not coming up. I have to get rid of the ads, and I have to go to the soundboard so I can get my little, here we go. It's too soft. Here we go. All right, now we'll do it. All right, that is our little sound that says we're going to be saying spoilers. This is the end of the show. We've put them at the end. So if you don't want to hear anything about This Is Us and the twist that got spoiled for me, or anything about Designated Survivor, I might talk about a little bit, any of the NCISs that just started up, and just any other shows we might discuss. If you want to remain unspoiled, it's been nice knowing you. You can turn off the podcast now. We'll see you next week. Let's start out. So you watched the first episode of This Is Us.
I did. And we should point out that it got spoiled for you because you went looking.
That is true. Yes. Well, no, not entirely. My daughter. Okay, so we're getting into the twist here. So really, seriously, if y'all don't want to know it, don't listen.
Right, now's the time.
I had seen the preview any number of times, the trailer, and thought, well, that looks interesting, and it is effectively jerking my tears. I have no idea what the show is going to be. And I, of course, heard there's a big twist at the end. There's a big twist in the end. And my daughter watched it without me and said something about the babies. And I had figured out from the trailer that it sounded like one of the babies was going to die. And she says, yeah, and one of the babies is black. And I'm like, well, record scratch sound. That's not what I was expecting. What the heck? Is it an in vitro fertilization thing? Is it how did that happen? So I then tried to watch the end of the show on the NBC site. But of course, every time you move the little cursor, you have to watch 5 commercials. So I just thought, oh, what the heck? If that's the big twist, now I know it. So I'm just going to go Google and see what the deal is. Well, of course, that's not the big twist. The twist is much bigger than that, and which I soon found out. So the twist being that of the 4 people having a birthday, one of them is the father of the other 3. One of the plot lines is taking place in 1980 and not 2016, and one of the triplets dies, and then they adopt another one, which, boy, there could be a whole nother series on the social work involved in that. I mean, 1980 is not that much earlier than I adopted, and you couldn't just be at the hospital and say, hey, you know what? We'll take that one too. Pack that one up. We've got a crib for it. We got a onesie. It's all
We're good.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I gotta think. We're a young couple just starting out, and we have 2 babies, but we can have another one. Sure, just bring it over. And it's a different race, but that's fine. They'll all work out.
Yes.
So that seemed a little, I hope we're going to go back and see somehow that came about.
Right. So the twist was that you're watching the whole show and you think that everything is set in the present day. Yes. And then you find out that this one piece where the mother is giving birth to these triplets, in which one triplet doesn't live, happened, 36 years before the
Yes.
present. And I will say that there was one when she went to the hospital to deliver, and they were going to deliver these triplets vaginally, and I was like, okay, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the only time when I thought to myself, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's just strange. So that surprised me. But then at the very end, it's all in the visuals where the dad is looking at his babies in the nursery, and he's talking to a man next to him and says, which one's yours? And he said, oh, I just found a baby at my fire station, and there he is. And then
you've just been hearing that whole story from Randall, the
Sterling K.
twin.
Brown.
Yes, he is quite good. I really do like him. It's the first time I've seen him in anything because I didn't watch the OJ thing.
Right. His story arc in this, just in the pilot, was him finding out who his birth father is.
Yes.
Who and inexplicably bringing him home to his wife and children, but his face and the way he says to his wife, like, everything, whenever I'm around this person, I just do exactly the opposite of what I want to do. And he's like laughing maniacally, and he's just so good.
Yes, he really is.
Sterling K. Brown is at showing how emotional this whole thing is for his character.
Yeah. So
what I'm curious about now that they've set this all up in the pilot, like, do we never see the parents again, or do they flash back and forth between the infancy and the present? Like, how are they handling it?
Well, I watched episode 2. Do you want me to spoil it for you?
I want to know.
Well, first,
how
let me say about the pilot. My concern about it going out of it, in the first place, I read an article by Dan Fienberg, who's a TV critic, who was saying he didn't really think they needed to do the twist in such a big twisty way because you don't really know what show you're watching until you get to it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I think if they had sold this as bouncing around through time, I would have been more interested in it from the beginning. It's a neat reveal, but I don't know that they really needed to do it that way. And
it's more of a gimmick than anything else.
Yeah, I don't know that was necessary. And also, I just am not really interested in these people. Out of the standout for me in the pilot was Gerald McRaney as the obstetrician. I loved him. I want to spin off with him immediately. I want them to twist it so that he is related to them in some way, so he will be in every episode. And I liked the boyfriend. I liked the wife. The Randall of the triplets was the one I was most interested in. The other two, I feel like I've seen those stories before. I'm really not that interested in it. So I'm not really looking forward to spending hours with them all. And I mean, the parents, okay.
Well, as Tara Ariano pointed out on Extra Hot Great, you could just fast forward
That's why
everything except for like the Randall storyline or whatever.
I may be doing that, honestly, because I just, having watched the second episode, I am no more interested in those characters. Nothing against the actors. I'm just... but I still like the boyfriend. I really like the wife. She got more to do. And, the wife of Randall's character.
Yeah.
Gerald McRaney was not in this second episode, I am sad to say, but he is, based on the previews, in the third one. So apparently they are going to jump around. In the second episode, yes, you do see the parents at a particular point, a different point than earlier when the kids are like 7 or 8. So they're obviously we're going to be jumping around in time with them. I suspect we're going to be jumping to points in the past that illustrate things going on in the present. Not real well, but I think that's the conceit. And I don't know. I We'll watch at least one more episode because I want to see Gerald McRaney again. I really like that character. But I don't know. But boy, are they getting the guest stars. Second episode had Katie Sagal, Brad Garrett, and also the guy. Did you watch Castle?
No.
John Huertas, who played one of the police detectives on Castle, shows up in the past storyline, and well, I won't say anything more about that. But and then it does look like we will be seeing the parents in the present at least one of the parents in the present in bad aging makeup. So. So I mean, I think it's going to jump around. I know somebody has compared it. I'm not sure if it was might have been the producers who compared it to Lost. Did you watch Lost?
No.
Where something would be going on in the present and then you would flash back to something from these people's pasts. And it would inform the present story. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be what they're doing, except doing it with a family drama instead of a sci-fi story. Well, Lost wasn't really I don't know what exactly you would call Lost. Some people would call it a mess, but I liked it. So it just got. I heard saw just earlier this evening that it's gotten a full season pickup. So this will continue to be us for an entire season. Yes. Okay. And boy, do they have TJ Maxx is like sponsoring it, and they had a TJ Maxx ad that had like the same typography and the same. This is something, and this is something, and they were like, having people talk about their families and their lives, and it's wow, is that tied in? That's a little weird. Yeah. So, I'll give it at least one more week, but can't quite put my finger on. I don't know. To see.
Yeah. Well, I was curious enough to watch the pilot, and I would like to try it another episode or two, just like you.
Yeah. Definitely it's been compared to Parenthood, and I can see that comparison in both good and bad ways. So we'll see where it goes from here. I also watched, in terms of new fall TV, have you watched anything else other than that?
I really haven't.
Okay. Well, just to report in, I did watch Designated Survivor. I wanted to at least watch the first episode to see that whole scenario play out. And I enjoyed the first episode. Not sure I want to watch any more. There is a general who is all but twisting his mustache in Evil to Lee, and I don't want to see any more of him. And he's pretty much sure going to be in some more of it. Just leave Kiefer Sutherland alone to just be presidential, will ya? Well, yeah. It had some good things in it that I liked. I read a review of it. I'm not sure if it was Alan Sepinwall or Dan Fienberg who was saying that they think it's going to eventually go down sort of a scandal House of Cards type route with lots of intrigue, behind closed doors intrigue and people doing that. And I'm not interested in that. If it was going to be, the West Wingy, I would be more interested. Yeah. But probably not. I could see them setting up chess pieces for scandals and stuff. No. So other people in my family, my husband watched Bull and MacGyver and said he would watch another episode of those. I watched the minute and a half of Bull that Chris Jackson from Hamilton was in just to support him. But it was not much, and I don't
and I caught a glimpse of a promo for Blackish with Debbie Diggs in it.
Yes, that I will watch. My daughter watches that and enjoys it, so I will watch those episodes. My daughter has watched Kevin Can Wait, which has been universally critically reviled, but she enjoyed it very much. Says Kevin James is very funny, so if that is your thing, you will probably enjoy that. Okay. I also have watched many new NCISs. All the season debuts. I didn't get all the way through the NCIS LA one, but basically the message we take away is that government agents coming to cramp the style of our lovable NCIS people is bad news. That is the message of 2 out of 3 NCIS season premieres. And the other one just has lots of new people. So So that's where I am in the fall season now. I don't think I have too much on my DVR. I may still have some of last season on my DVR, but I've been watching stuff.
That seems to be one of the ones that you save up.
Yes. So next week we will be discussing the additional episodes of Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if they're having results episode again next week or not, but we will be coming to you either on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how that lays out. And we will be watching the Sports Night episodes, How Are Things in Guacamora, The Sword of Orion, Eli's Coming, and Ordnance Tactics. And we will be getting back to the West Wing. I think maybe watching the Sports Nights needs the West Wing as counterpoint. You need to have the funny and the more serious together. We'll see if that makes it better, because we are coming back to 2 incredibly awesome episodes. Well, it's a 2-part episode of West Wing, In the Shadow of Two Gunmen. And there's going to be a super duper deluxe West Wing Weekly podcast to go with it. So we will be able to discuss that as well. Did you listen to the episode with Aaron Sorkin talking?
I did.
His method. So we can talk about that then too, as part of this whole thing. And that will be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Hi, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.